What is up, YouTube? I'm back making random genres, and the name of the game is I'm picking genres out of the bowl. Let's see what's in store for today. And today we are making breakbeat. So let's get started for today. First thing I did was set my tempo to 126 beats per minute. And then I threw in a really simple C minor chord into the MIDI. And then I'm putting on this Cubase MIDI effect, the Apache SX. And what I want to do is I want to create a sort of shuffle or swing style arpeggiator. Just a really simple sort of rhythmical style synth. So now what I want to do is I want to bounce out the MIDI pattern for this ARP, and then we can apply a swing effect. So we just need to use the merge MIDI in loop function. You can find it over here. So that renders us out a clip of the MIDI pattern of the arpeggiator. So we can edit it, but I mean, we just want something simple, so I'm going to leave it as is and then just apply a swing to it. So here I'm just playing around with the sound, adding a couple of effects and stuff. I'm not going to be too descriptive in this part just to save some time in the video. Also just gave the synth some unison. The main thing in the effects though is quite a bit of reverb, and I also applied a second filter which I set to high pass, and I turned that up quite a bit just so that we're really getting like the top end pluck of the arpeggiator sound. So now we're getting onto the drums. So what I did is I found a nice sounding kick drum, loaded that in, and then I copied it to make two instances of it. And what I like to do is apply a reverb to one of them, and that's going to be like our first boomy kick of the sequence, and the other ones are just going to be the sort of auxiliary kind of side kicks. A little tip here, if you're using Cubase's offline processing, if you click on the more at the bottom there, you're able to actually create a tail, so you're able to create more space at the end of the audio file for your reverbs and delays to tail off. Cool, then we have our two separate kick drums, and I'll load them into a sampler. It's quite important to remember you probably want to turn the volume down on the second one, just because the reverb kind of has a volume reduction type of effect going on with it. And then I'm going to find myself some hi-hat samples and chuck those into the sampler, and then just lay them out on the 16th swing pattern, the same as the arpeggiator. Then I'll just play with the envelope tails of all these samples. That includes the kick as well, specifically the reverb kick. I don't want it to overlay with like the snares and stuff like that. So then I'm going to lay out the MIDI for the drums, and this took quite a while. It was like a backwards and forwards process until I finally found like the groove I was actually looking for. So it's definitely important to take the time now, because you're pretty much going to build the rest of your track around the rhythm of the drums. So try get something that sounds really good right off the cuff. You'll also notice that I'm only using the reverb kick at the beginning of every bar. All the other kicks in the bar are the much shorter kick. I just find that sort of gives so much more accent to the first kick. Then I'm going to duplicate the kick sample and create a sort of secondary snare layer just to add much more sort of sub punch to the snare drum. I added a low pass filter just so the low frequencies would come through. Now I want to EQ my drum group, and again I'm not going to be too descriptive here, but the main things to look out for is that you want to cut your lows out and leave enough space for all your other low end content to really cut through the mix, like your bass lines and your subs and stuff like that. So I want to find a sort of retro sounding bass sound. So I'm not going to go through the process of creating one from scratch. I'm just going to look through Omnisphere's library and find one that fits what I'm looking for. So then I recorded in the bass MIDI, and while I was doing that I realized that the track was still in C minor. So I want to just quickly transpose all the MIDI tracks to a different key. And because I'm so damn indecisive, I decided to change the bass sound again, and I actually found something that sounded a lot better and fitted the track. So then I just bounced this bass sound out, and I want to create a secondary bass line to complement what I've got here already. And it's just a simple sine wave unison with some distortion and a filter mod to create some movement. When I'm creating these heavy distortion sounds, I like to create a proper sub oscillator and set it to direct out, just because the distortion takes away some of the sub. I like to use a lot of portamento or glide with these type of bass lines. I think it sounds really cool. And then I just want to cut some of the highs out of this bass line just to give the rest of the track some space. And then we can start adding some synths and stuff. I really dig this plugin, Instalooper. It's great for creating quick retrigger effects. So again, this is me being indecisive. I was looking for another sound for this melody that I created. So I just bounced out that glitchy melody, and I'm going to create a second layer with the same melody, but maybe with a different sound. And I'm going to start sort of arranging a pre-build-up section and sort of start creating the track from the pieces that we've built up already. I think this track is calling for a sort of keyboard / guitar chordy type dub echo type sound. So I found a sound in Omnisphere and I'm going to apply a delay effect to it. And then I just started adding some random atmospheres and pads that I found in Omnisphere. And I just bounced them out as audio files so we can start arranging the track in a sort of sensible timeline. Let me know what you guys think of my track in the comments. Please don't be too harsh. And as always, please hit that subscribe and like button. If you like what I do, head on over to my Patreon and please consider supporting me. There's a couple of different rewards that I offer for my Patreon, so definitely head on over there and check it out. See you guys next time.